Hi, I'm Chris from Sallyforth, and today I'm going to be taking a look at how to play the Campaigns of Oz board wargame. So I've previously done an unboxing video, so I'm not going to be going into detail of all of the components, but there is a link below if you would like to check that out. So this is the map board set up for the first campaign in the Campaigns of Oz game, which is the witches invading the city, the land of harvest. So what we have is in the north we have Arella and the Gillikins, and in the east we have the Wicked Witch of the East, Evora, and her Winkies. So their main forces, Evora's are set up in the Yellow Castle, and Arella's in the Black Castle. So their objective is to capture the Land of Harvest. So the Land of Harvest is the area in the centre. The map points have an orange to indicate it's harvest, and we have these nice sort of field symbols to give us a visual reminder as well. So this first scenario is really sort of set up for for solo or cooperative play, as the basically, so when an enemy army moves into Land of Harvest, we will draw from the sort of random bag a number of lesser pumpkin and possibly sort of great pumpkin tokens according to sort of what we roll on the table. What we've got set up is the map board. We've already set the tokens in place for the game. We have potential reinforcements tokens set up, ready to be used. We've got our quick reference sheet, our battle determination board, and we've got a sort of a dice and a dice box for for rolling the dice. So we'll have a look. The game is all about sort of point movement, so there aren't any hexes or squares or anything like that to move. That you see that the map has a number, all of the named cities. So as we already had a look at the Black Castle, the Gillikin capital, we have Gulch, Prairie, Splash Splash, all of the the Campaign of Oz towns and villages and that sort of thing. And between them, there are different links, and these are quite important. So the links can either be a trail, which is this sort of mixed dashed and dotted line, or a path, or in fact you can move by river, and obviously we also have the yellow brick road, which is kind of a main highway, and we have the red brick road in the Quadlin country. So depending how good the link is between the areas will affect your sort of strategy later on, as it affects sort of attrition and sort of how many of your troops can actually sort of subsist in that area. The movement, the campaign sequence is you roll to see who has initiative. So this is a solo game. So the active players obviously going to go first, and then we have action phases where where we start off with one leader and they activate a stack of units. So I'm going to start over here with Evora and her Winkies. So what my plan is to leave Evora in the Yellow Castle so she can recruit more troops, and I'm going to move with Zerdi, who's one of the generals, and I want the whole army to move down to Broken Bridge. So that's one campaign link, and it's a trail. So the way that this works is that you count the number of units in your movement stack. So in this situation, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, we don't count undead. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we don't count generals. Okay, so the undead, they're sort of they don't eat very much, so they don't have to worry about attrition. So we've got six units, but because they're moving within their own territory, that's halved down to 3. We would then have a look at the type of path that they're following, and that's a trail. So already, and you subtract 7 for trails and 4 for paths. So we've got 6 in the stack minus 7. So they're not gonna lose anything for attrition. So we can just move those down to there. On the other hand, Arella is decided that she wants to get stuck in personally. So she's going to move with her whole stack from Black Castle down to Borgo Pass. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8 units plus her. She doesn't count. Okay, so we move it to Borgo Pass. Because it's within Gillikin land, that's halved down to 4. And once again, we've moved on a trail. So 4 minus 7 is minus 3. So there's no attrition there. So we will just cut from there and move the rest of the units for this first turn. So this is how the game looks at the end of the first turn. So Winkies and the Gillikins have deliberately not crossed into the land, into the land of harvest, just so that what the tactics are going to be is that they're going to mass their troops from around their region into a number of armies that are ready to cross into the harvest territory at the same time, rather than getting defeated in detail. So here we are. So we have General Zerdy and his army. They're ready, and they're one sort of move away from sort of Great Ferry. So they have a choice that they could either go through the industrial city and then back up to Great Ferry. Well, they're only a path, and it's kind of 2 moves. So what they're going to do is they're going to use some boats, and they're going to sort of move along the river to Great Ferry. So I think because they end their move in Great Ferry, they're no longer in their own territory. So we need to work out the attrition without halving the value. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 units that aren't undead or leaders, and they've moved along a river which counts as a trail. So that's okay. So 6 minus the 7 for moving along a trail, that's minus 1. So they're not going to sort of lose anything there. So this is a population centre. It moved along the river. Great Ferry is a movement node rather than a population centre, and we can tell that because it's in a diamond. So all what we need to do now is to roll a d10. So there we go. Rolled our d10, and we've rolled a 10 for a movement node. So this might be bad news for the Winkies, because a 10 means that we get to draw 3 tokens for what enemy forces are there. So first token is a lesser pumpkin, and a great pumpkin is the second one, and the third token is a lesser pumpkin as well. So because a stack has moved into a point where there's already an enemy unit, then the combat, so battle, is going to occur. In the campaigns of Oz, there are two different methods for determining combat. There's a quick campaign map combat method for if you want your game to move along quickly and to focus on the campaign's strategic movement. And then there is also a battle board mini game for if you want a little bit more detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at both methods to show you how they work. And the third option is, if you're a miniatures gamer, then you could set up this as an encounter, and you'd have the 2 units of lesser pumpkin head, a unit of great pumpkins on one side, and then you would have the apes, the infantry, the bodyguard, the summoning bell, all of these winky units on the other side, and you would play the battle out. So first up, this combat we will resolve using the campaign map combat system. So what we need to do is to look at how many counters there are in the stack, and it doesn't actually matter what type they are. In this instance, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 8 counters, and we roll our 10-sided dice, and we get a 9. Ouch. So that was pretty brutal. So because we rolled a 9 on the dice, it's 8 counters in the stack times 0.9 equals 7.2 casualties. Well, the Land of Harvest only had 3 there, so that's going to be all of them destroyed. But they get to sort of fight back first. So here they have 3 counters, and we roll a 7. So 3 times 0.7 equals 2.1. Okay, so if there is a leader in the stack, then if there's a magic user in the stack, then that number rounds up, and if there isn't, then it rounds down. Okay, so that's going to cause 2 casualties on this stack, and this stack is going to be removed. So I'm going to put them back into the Land of Harvest reinforcement bag and give that a shake, ready for our next encounter, and have a look at what's here and what we're going to sacrifice. So we're going to lose 2 units, and I think we'll lose the infantry and one of the lesser apes. And because they defeated the enemy, so they can stay where they are at Great Ferry. So that's a good start to the Winkies campaign. Finished the campaign movement and combat for turn 2. So now we can have a look at recruitment. So recruitment happens if you have your leader in either a fortified population area, which is a pentagon, or a population center, which is a square. So Evora is at Yellow Castle. Arella is camping out with her troops in the middle of the woods, so she's not going to get to recruit anyone. So what we do, we've put the casualties that we've taken plus the units that were specified in the campaign setup as being a recruitment pool. We've put them into a bag that we can draw from. We then roll a 10-sided dice, and that's a 5. So it's divided by 2 and rounded down. So that's 2. So that means that we get to recruit 2 units drawn at random from the recruitment pool, and they join us where our leader is. So if Rora has recruited herself a unit of infantry and a second unit of infantry. Okay, so that's definitely a consideration. So we might see if we can get into position next turn where Arella can recruit some troops as well. So that's the end of turn 2. We're going to move the council on to the turn track to turn 3 and think about what sort of movement we want to do. So, yeah, so General Zerdi, he was made quite good sort of progress there. So he is going to move his army onwards to Silo, which in this game is a population center. So we will have a look at our Land of Harvest recruitment and roll a 10-sided dice. Okay, so we've got a 3. So a 3 on a population center is 3 tokens. First one is a lesser pumpkin, followed by a lesser pumpkin, and a great pumpkin. Okay.
So at this point in the game, we had a technical issue with our video setup, so we will have to come back in a second video and look at how the battle board resolution works and look at the board game in a bit more detail, but I hope this has given you a good overview.